Today we are going to study one important topic by the name subqueries returning multiple records. So in our previous class we had understood what is subquery, when we have to use subquery, and what are the things to keep in mind whenever we are writing a subquery. Now we are going to look at one more variation of it. Okay, one more variation of subqueries and how to handle them. Okay, so what do you mean by this is subqueries returning multiple records. Okay, so what we have done, just to illustrate this, I've taken the sample data, our old EMP and department tables. Okay, and I've taken a set of queries. Let's try to solve each and every query one by one so that we'll try to understand. Okay, first query is a very simple query. Write a query to find out all the employee names who are working in New York. Okay, so basically what will happen here is, so basically this is the New York location. I want all the employee names basically, who are working in New York location. So how do you solve this? It's subquery spanning more than one table. Okay, how do you solve this? Very simple query. Okay, you are going to solve it like, let me use a different font. You're going to say select ename from EMP where you are not going to use where location is equal to New York. I hope you have understood why am I not using this, because it's a subquery spanning more than one table. Whenever a subquery is spanning more than one table, you have to take the assistance of a foreign key. How are you going to do? Where department number is equal to select department number from which table? Department table, where location is equal to New York. And every query SQ ends with a semicolon. So this is the query. Very simple. Why is it called subquery spanning more than one table? Because we are using two tables. One is EMP, one is department. Since the data is spread across two tables, we have to use two tables to solve this question. So what is the fundamental principle of writing a subquery? Whenever you're writing a subquery, the outer query condition column and the inner query selection column should be matching. Okay, so straightforward. Now this question, I think hopefully everyone has understood. Now let's look at one more variation of the same question. The second question. Here what am I asking? I'm asking you to find out all the employee names who's a clerk and getting a salary greater than Turner. So if you start analyzing this question, what is it I'm trying to say? So I'm trying to find out the employee names who is a clerk, and the clerk's salary should be greater than 1500. Got it? How are you going to solve this question? Try to understand. Select ename from EMP where job is equal to clerk. If I write this, what does it mean? It is going to give me all the employees who are working as clerk. But is it the only condition I am looking at? No. Apart from this, I also want these clerk's salary should be greater than the salary of Turner. Okay, so basically I have to identify two records, two types of conditions. One is a direct condition, one is an indirect condition. What is the indirect condition? What is the direct condition? I've explained you in my previous classes. So what is it I'm trying to do here is, first I have to find out all the clerks. Let's say there might be three clerks. Okay, who are those three clerks? Let's make a note of it. Okay, here. Okay, let's look at the job here. Smith is one guy. Okay, Miller is one guy. So these are the two guys. So between them, there might be someone who is getting a salary greater than them, greater than Turner. What is the Turner salary? 1500. So I want someone who is getting a salary greater than 1500. So obviously what will happen? Smith's salary is 800, Miller's salary is 1300. So both these guys are getting a salary lesser than that. So no records will be displayed. But so tomorrow if someone comes like Rohit, who's a clerk and his salary is, let's say, 2000, okay, his name will be displayed because he is satisfying both the conditions. Okay, so this is how you are analyzing the query and you are solving the question. Now let's look at this the third question and try to understand how we are going to solve it. Okay. Let's start. So this is the important aspect of a query. Try to understand this and concentrate. Write a query to find out all the employee names who's getting a salary greater than all the employees working in New York. So let's understand the first question, the third question clearly. What am I saying? I want all the employee names. Fine. It's both are same. Getting a salary greater than all the employees in New York. So the moment you look at these two tables, since you have studied the data, what have you understood? The two tables, it's subquery spanning two tables. That is fine. So how are you going to solve this question? We have been solving this. How are you going to select ename from EMP where salary is greater than, I want the salary to be greater than all the employees who are working in New York. Select salary from EMP where department number is equal to select department number from department table where location is equal to New York. So this is how I would normally solve this question. Okay. So you have to understand few things here. Okay. Let me just simplify few things so that you will understand. Now, first thing, I want all the employee names who's getting a salary greater than. This is the first query. Select ename from EMP where salary greater than. Now let's try to understand the condition. Okay. I want to find out all the employees working in New York and I want those employees who's getting a salary greater than all of these guys. Correct? So how am I going to do it? Select salary from EMP where department number is equal to. First I'm going to find out all the locations. Department number of New York. The department number of New York is what? Accounting. So once I have found out accounting is what? 10. Once I have found out all the department numbers 10, the salary I have made a list of it. So what is the list of all the salaries? So wherever 10 is there, I'm going to make a list of this. And I'm going to find out employee name, okay, who's getting a salary greater than them. But one important catch here is, okay, so let's try to understand how it gets executed so that you'll understand what I'm trying to say. So let's try to change the font color. First, how the execution will start. First, the innermost subquery will get executed. Okay. When the innermost subquery gets executed, what will happen? The innermost subquery will give you what is the data it is going to give you. Select department number from department where location is equal to New York. The actual answer will be 10. This value will be pushed to the outer query. In our case, since it's having multiple nesting, it is going to find out, it is going to run this query. So when it is running, it is going to run it like this. Select salary from EMP where department is equal to 10. 10 how did I get? By running the innermost query. Select salary from EMP where department number is equal to 10. If I run this query, what will happen? I'm going to get the following salaries. Wherever department number is 10. So this is one guy, department number is 10. Again, this is department number 10. Again, there is one more department number 10 here. So how many salaries I am going to get? I am going to get, if I run this query, I am going to get around 3 salaries. 1300. Okay. What is the other one? 2450. What is the other one? 5000. So let me explain it once again, since we are just starting out, to be more clear. So first we have written the query. This query has multiple nesting, means outer query is there, inner query is there. Inside inner query, there is one more inner query. That's called as multiple nesting. Okay, so how the execution will start? The innermost query will get executed first. In our case, the innermost query is this. The output is what? 10. Now this output will be pushed to the outer query. In our case, the second level of nesting. So if I run this query, I'm going to get all the salaries where department number is equal to 10. So let's assume we are having 3 records. So what are we getting? 1300, 2450, 5000. Now, what is the question here? If you understand, if you closely look at this question, write a query to find all the employee names getting a salary greater than all the employees working in New York. Means finally this query will be simplified like this. Okay. Internally, where salary is greater than 1300, comma 2450, comma 5000. Yes or no? So this whole query, while executing, it will be simplified like this. Now the question is this syntactically correct? No, this is not syntactically correct, because whenever you write a condition has 3 components, as I've suggested you before. A condition column is there, operator is there, there should be only one value unless you are using a keyword. Since it is having 3 different values, it will not be in a position to understand to what I have to compare with. To make the SQL engine understand this, what you are going to do, you are going to use a keyword by the name all. For the 5000. Why am I using the keyword all? Try to understand. The reason why I'm using it is I want someone who is going to get a salary greater than all of these. All of these in the sense what? I should be greater than 1300 also, 2450 also, and 5000 also. And this condition, it will be simplified like this. Okay. Internally, select ename from EMP where salary greater than 1300 and salary greater than 2450 and salary greater than 5000. So final query will look like this. So what is basically all doing, it is actually abstracting an AND clause. Instead of writing multiple AND conditions, you can combine everything and make it all. So how do you solve these kind of questions? Whenever a subquery, whenever the innermost query is returning multiple records, how do you solve these kind of questions? You are going to your answering will be like this. Try to understand. Select ename from EMP where salary greater than all. Select sal from EMP where department number is equal to select department number from department table where location is equal to New York. It should be within single quotes. Try to be careful with your brackets. And this is the SQL query. Now, did you understand the concept of subquery returning multiple records? The innermost query is returning multiple records. To handle this innermost query, which is returning multiple records, or to make the SQL engine understand how we have to compare, you have to use all. Got it? Okay, now look at the fourth question. You'll get more clarity on this. Write a query to find out all the employee names who's getting a salary greater than any one of the employees working in New York. If you look at this question and this question, try to understand the difference. What is the difference? One is any, the other one is all. So basically, what am I asking here? Everything is same. The only thing is all and any is different. Means it should not be and, it should be or. So it can be, basically I want the final condition to be like this. Okay. Select ename from EMP where salary is greater than 1300 or salary is greater than 2450 or salary is greater than 5000. Everything is same, every query execution, everything is same, but the only thing is it should not be and, it should be or, because among these salaries I just want a guy who's getting greater than any one of them. In these kind of cases, how do you solve this question? Select ename from EMP where salary greater than, instead of all you will use the keyword any, and you're going to solve this question. Hope you have understood this concept of all and any. Okay, some students, whenever they're trying to learn SQL, right, they will try to confuse things. They will have some kind of, it's not that they are trying to confuse, they will have some kind of confusion. What is that? Sir, instead of or, can't I use in here? Remember, in is only used with equality operator, not with greater than operator. Got it? So you don't confuse that in with this. Okay, now the second question is, sir, how do we understand the inner query returns multiple records? How do we understand the inner query returns multiple records? Answer to that is, okay, answer to that is, you should always assume the inner query returns multiple records. Because not every time you are going to see the data and do the analysis. Sometimes you are going to look at only the structure of the table. Structure of the table in the sense, table names and column names, and try to write the query. Since we are beginning, what we are trying to do, I am just asking you to showing you all the data and execution points, and then I'm explaining it to you. But in real time scenarios, not every time you'll have that luxury of looking at data and trying to solve the problems. You'll be just having the table and the column names, looking at the question, you should be able to solve the question. And when do we understand whether the subquery is returning multiple records? It's very simple. There is no understanding it. Always assume that it returns multiple records. If you assume that it returns multiple records, even though the innermost query returns only one record, so if you are using these keywords, it will not impact your overall result. Got it? So the simple answer is you should always assume it returns multiple records. Now, how do you handle multiple records? It's very simple, all and any. Using aggregation also we can handle it, but once I go there I'll explain it to you. But these are the ways to handle it. Got it? Okay. Now let's look at one more variation of this. So let's look at the fifth question. Write a query to find out all the employee names working as managers and getting a salary greater than all the employees working in New York. Again, what is the important keyword you have to see? Greater than all the employees working in New York. First thing is the employee should be a manager, and that those manager salary should be greater than all the employees working in New York. How do we solve this question? Again, let me change the font size, font color, so that we will be able to distinguish. Select ename from EMP where job is equal to manager. First, this guy should be a manager and his salary should be greater than all the employees working in New York. Department number from department table where location is equal to New York. 1 bracket close, 2 bracket close. Now, what is the keyword we have to use? We have to use the keyword all. Why? If this innermost query returns multiple records, it should be able to handle it. Got it? Clear? The only difference between this is it's a combination of direct and indirect condition. Now, if you look at here, what is happening? So this is how you are going to solve this question. You are going to solve this question. Now let's look at the another question. Write a query to find out all the employees working as managers get salary greater than any one of managers and getting a salary greater than any one of the employees working in New York. Now try to identify the difference. The only difference between these two salaries is what? All or any. Now instead of using all, what you are going to use here? You are going to use any. Rest everything will remain the same. Rest everything will remain the same. Clear? Up till here? Now, one more important concept what you have to do. So, when I was explaining this, I explained you the concept. So when do you understand, when do you know the subquery returns multiple records? We never know subquery returns multiple records. We should always assume that subquery returns multiple records. If we are assuming all the things, so if you look at this innermost query, so here we have handled it. What if there is select department from department where location is equal New York? What if this returns multiple records? This also can return multiple records at any given point of time. Correct? There are chances that it might, so there might be one more department by the name New York, one more location by the name New York. Tomorrow it might come, even though the data is not here, tomorrow it might come. In those kind of cases, what you have to do, here also you can use one operator. What is the operator you are going to use? You are going to use equal to any. Okay, it can be either New York or Dallas. Instead of using equal to any, what you can do, you can use the keyword in. So from now onwards, whenever you're writing a query and it has an equality operator, what you have to do in these kind of situations, what you have to do, you have to use the keyword by the name in. Here also what you have to do, you have to use the keyword in. So instead of writing equal to, you can write department number in. Select department from department where location is equal to New York. So I'll just write it out so that you will have that clarity. Select ename from EMP where department number in. Select ename, select department number from department where location is equal to, just for simplicity's sake, I'll write New York. So what am I doing here? I'm using the keyword in. Previously I used to use equal to. Instead of writing equal to any, what is equal to any? Any is OR operator. Equal to is equality operator. Equal to any can be replaced by in. Okay, from now onwards you should not use equal to sign. Whenever you are using equal to sign, you can directly use equal to any, because we are assuming that tomorrow multiple records might come. Even if it's one record also, it will still work because it will do comparison with only one value. Got it? So how do you handle this subqueries returning multiple records? In conclusion, to handle this subquery returning multiple records, how to handle it? Very simple. You can use in keyword, you can use any keyword, you can use all keyword. Any is what? It is equivalent to or what is all, it is equivalent to and. What is in, it is nothing but equal to any. So just to be sir, multiple or, just to give that clarity to you, multiple and. So this is what you call as subqueries returning multiple records. So this is very important whenever you are writing subqueries. So here you have understood two different concepts. One, subquery returning multiple records, and how to nest queries. So in our previous examples, what we used to do, we used to get the queries like this in this format, right? Select ename from EMP or department is equal to one now inner query. But in this case, what is happening? We have an inner query. Inside an inner query, we are having one more inner query. So this is called as multiple levels of nesting. That depends on scenario to scenario, project to project. We will have different types of nesting. Okay. But the fundamental rules remains the same. What is the fundamental rule? There should be an indirect condition. To resolve the indirect condition, we have to use subquery. And if there are multiple indirect conditions, we'll try to nest it. Okay, whenever you are nesting, you have to take care of the fundamental thing. The outer query, the inner query. Condition selection should be same. The outer query, the inner query. Condition selection should be same. These rules will never change. Okay, so this is how you have to understand the subquery. So once you solve multiple questions on this, you'll try to understand. So whatever subqueries questions you have solved up till now, what you can do, you can revisit them and try to understand. Whenever you are using equal to, try to use in. Whenever you are using greater than, lesser than, try to see whether it's returning multiple records. And assuming that it returns multiple records, try to put that condition, looking at the, use the keywords all and any. Okay, so that it gives you much more clarity. Okay. Hopefully you have understood the concept of subqueries returning multiple records. Thank you.